Hey everyone, the name is Eric Dor, and this is the myth of gifted laziness. It's often said that gifted people are lazy, that they struggle to complete their homework, that they spend a lot of time just looking out the window in school, and that they don't listen to authority figures, teachers, and managers, and they spend a lot of time just idling about. In this video, I want to challenge that idea and I want to explain what's really going on. The first thing you need to know as a gifted person is that you're not externally motivated. You're probably more likely to be internally motivated. That's because growing up, you learned that adults had unnecessarily complicated and simple way of getting around with different problems. The steps and procedures and methods that are outlined in school books were not really designed for you. They were designed for somebody that learned more slowly and needed more help and supervision. But you, as a gifted person, have the capacity inside you to set your own goals, to come up with your own methods and your own strategies. And a lot of the time, you'll find that things get a lot easier if you learn to motivate yourself. Gifted people are not actually lazy. In fact, they're highly resilient. One of the key 4 personality traits that I've found in gifted people is their resilience, their ability to continually motivate themselves and push through extreme challenge, difficulty, exhaustion, and boredom, right? So if you find that you are gifted and that you are working on a problem, you're going to find that you have a higher ability to motivate and push yourself than other kids. Yeah, other kids will give up more easily than you, not just because it's more difficult for them, but because they don't have the same amount of willpower and they don't have the emotional management strategies that you've developed. And that gives you an edge. That gives you an edge no matter if you're playing basketball or if you're working on math equations. Yeah, resilience is this ability to discipline yourself, to keep working towards a goal, even when you are struggling, right? Often when we struggle, our mind starts building up this form of negative emotions, this limiting beliefs, this perfectionism. I'm not doing good enough. Oh, I'm struggling. I'm stupid. I can't do it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I want to do something else. You start coming up with excuses. You tell yourself, now I'll go do something different. Oh, I'm bored. I want to do something more fun. And then you quit the activity. But not gifted people. Gifted people can certainly hit the edge just like any person, but because of their resilience, they're capable of pushing through this negativity. They have this negativity. They can still feel this way. They can still suffer through these things, but they keep working even though they are struggling. And that's a key gift of gifted people. It's important though to learn to manage and navigate this kind of discipline. Many gifted people burn out because they have a poor sense of their own boundaries, or because they are so inclined to try to impress other people or to achieve impossible goals. You tell yourself it has to be done quicker than it needs to be. You tell yourself it has to be done better than it has to be. And you push yourself to do more than what you should be doing, right? Here, what you're going to have to learn is just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. It's important for you to stay intentional in what it is that you do and that you focus on quality over quantity. Life is not a race. It is a marathon. It is something that requires consistent, sustainable effort over a longer time period. And you're going to have to plan out your life not to have completed all your goals by 20, but to have the capacity to keep running even when you're 60. And so you're going to have to think about what it is you can do to stay motivated and consistent over a longer time frame. Like many people who come up with their own strategies, like many people who are intrinsically motivated, who have their own goals, who have their own methodologies, you're going to have to recognize that you have become your own boss. Yeah, you have become your own boss. You created your own project. You've learned to manage your own time. You learn to distrust or ignore authorities and to come up with your own way of doing things. But as your own boss, you also become the manager of your own time. While other kids are told to work for a certain amount of time on a certain duration, you have different time frames. And on top of that, you're going to have to set your own time frames. That means that you're going to have to learn to prioritize in rest as well as hard work. It's important that you recognize the importance of rest and intentional rest and play as strategies to increase and boost your learning and long-term memory retention. It's only during rest or meditation or play that your mind has the capacity to process through the hard work and effort that you put in. And that means that when you engage in these mindful activities of carefree play or relaxation, that's when your mind is the most neuroplastic. You'll find that you find yourself building new pathways, that your mind blows up with ideas and thoughts, and this is when you truly unlock your genius. If you don't rest, what's going to happen is that you gradually lose the ability to run sprints. You're going to find that every single time, in the beginning, you might find that you run a race faster and faster and faster. First day you complete it in 1 hour, and the next one in 50 minutes, and the next one in 40 minutes. But you're also going to find that you have less and less energy. Eventually you're going to hit your peak. And at that point, you're going to find that that's when the laziness and the demotivation begins to creep in. You'll find that you crash once a month or a couple of days every week. You'll find that you push yourself really hard for a few days, and then the next few days you're absolutely incapable of doing anything worthwhile at all. You'll find that you develop unhealthy work ethics where you obsessively think about work and find it difficult to connect and be present in relationships with other people. You're going to find that your life only becomes work and that you're constantly miserable. And you're going to tell yourself that that's who you have to be. That's what you have to do. And this is when your resilience has developed an unhealthy or parasitical presence in your mind. The problem when you set your own goal is that you're working on something you're extremely passionate about. And so often have I found myself, because I'm passionate about things, to keep on pressuring myself to keep going for it. But passion is an intrinsic state of motivation, right? And of course the motivation is there. But just because the motivation is there doesn't mean that the energy is there. And if the energy is not there, you're going to find that you're engaging in a lot of fruitless productivity. You work a lot, you do a lot, but if you look back, what did you really accomplish? Do you remember what you did? And was any of that really up to par? Was the quality of that work really that great? Now, this is perhaps why the myth of gifted laziness really came about. A lot of people see gifted people as people that rush and cut corners and that constantly act like they're doing a lot, when in reality a lot of the things that they do is kind of superficial or kind of low in terms of quality or payoff or reward. And a lot of the time as a gifted person you'll feel like you did a lot but you have very little to show for. And yeah, that can make people assume that you've been lazy. Of course you haven't. You've been actually working yourself to death. You've been pushing yourself really hard. But here is where it's important to learn to be mindful about how you use your gifted superpowers and intentions and your high goals and ambitions together with sensitivity, listening to yourself, your body, your emotions, acknowledging your energy levels, and learning to tap into energy and motivation and rest and play all at once. At least that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.